The problem is not with autism. It never has been. The real problem lies in people's perception. I see every day how parents feel their lives destroyed when they receive the diagnosis for the first time. It's as if the world has come to a grinding halt. Some literally see their hopes and aspirations disappear through the roof right in front of their eyes. But let me ask you this, what really has changed? Your child has always been the same, and you would always love him no matter what. Then why would you let a piece of paper suddenly dictate the course of your life? Though medically endorsed, I personally do not like using the term autism spectrum disorder. Sure, it could be categorized as a disorder for level 3 or other low-functioning kids on the spectrum. But the fact is that a vast majority of these kids are almost equally capable of achieving great things as their neurotypical peers. I heard a parent complain the other day, even when my child is with other kids, he prefers to play alone. Now, just because he prefers to be alone doesn't mean that he is lonely. Odds are pretty high that he may be perfectly content with him. And it's a conscious choice that your child has made. It's like when I see people on public transport, they're more inclined to be hooked onto their smartphones and their tablets rather than having those old-style conversations with their co-passengers. Now, while that might be part of a larger social problem, but does that necessarily mean that every one of them are lonely and unhappy? Your child has made a conscious decision just like us adults. So why can we not respect it? Parents complain, my child is different. So what? Have we ever met two individuals who are exactly identical in the way they interact with reality? Or have exactly the same behavioral patterns? Or learn and react exactly the same way? So if everyone is different, then who are we to draw a line on the sand and demark how much different do you need to be in order to become acceptable? True, most of these kids may have conditions that might set them apart. They may have deficits that inhibit their social, learning, behavioral developments. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to fall behind. The moment we start moving away from labeling these kids as having autism spectrum disorder and begin to believe that their symptoms lean more towards a set of conditions that broadly defines who they are, that very moment we change the game. At that moment we adopt a mind shift change. You see how powerful this is? Because now we no longer need to look into the child as a whole as being autistic, but rather focus on managing those individual conditions that may be broadly classified to fall within the spectrum. You know what? I like the term spectrum condition. Autism spectrum condition. When my elder brother, who's severely autistic by the way, and I were growing up in the 80s, the internet was practically non-existent. The only resource you could find at that point in time were books on what is autism. And they all came up with their own interpretations of the condition. Some even called it a subtle form of schizophrenia. But today, there is so much more available freely. My platform, Autism, for example, has more than 500,000 active subscribers, most of whom are parents. Now, while the availability of these resources is a great thing, there is still a fundamental issue. The vast majority of these strategies and resources that actually deliver measurable outcomes are heavily concentrated in the hands of a select few. But you know who's in the best position to make a meaningful difference to the child's life and help him or her integrate successfully into the society? It's not those psychologists, those occupational therapists, those special educators, not even those ABA certified behavior analysts. It is the parents like you and I. It is they who work for their kids unconditionally, day and night, without any expectations. It is they who spend the most amount of time with their child, observe their every pattern, always have their best interests in mind, and love them no matter what. It is they who stay awake at night, wondering if their child is falling behind. Their expectations are quite simple, really. Will my child grow up and have a normal life? And what have we done to empower these parents? What have we done to ensure that not only do these parents have access to the right tools and resources that deliver results, but also receive adequate support and engagement from a quality team of experts to help them succeed in that journey? And that's why I decided to start the Autism 360 Club. Now, I am looking for the opportunity for me and my team to work directly with a very limited number of highly motivated and energized parents who believe in making that difference. This will be a 3 months immersive program wherein me and my team will work full-time, one-on-one, with only 30 shortlisted parents on their child's overall 360 development. Now, these might include developments in any area, be it social or communication skills, teaching and learning, behavior development, sensory and motor skills development, or simply daily living activities. And it will be 100% results based, specific, measurable, achievable outcomes. That's what I'm talking about. Every parent will have a dedicated performance coach with who they will have direct access anytime during business hours. And together with the parent, we will choose 3 developmental milestones for the child that we need to focus on for the next 3 months. Now, at the start of the program, we will create an action plan on how we can support the parent on a direct response basis to alleviate those pain areas and improve on the developmental milestones. Then, with the rest of the program, we will work directly with the parent and provide him or her every piece of support and all the resources that they need to achieve those strategic goals. Now, the framework will ensure that the parent would be in constant contact with the performance coach on a regular basis, at least 2 to 3 times a week. Not only that, the team will be broadly supported by dedicated full-time occupational therapists, behavior experts, and special educators who will provide specialized guidance to the parents as and when required. Can you imagine the potential? You just don't have to rely on a particular person or skill anymore, but rather a full team of specialized caregivers on your speed dial whose only mission is to help you achieve those developmental goals that you have set yourself at the start of the program. And you don't need to book in an appointment 3 weeks in advance. You got a problem with something? Just pick up the phone and talk to us. As much as you need, as often as you need them. Now, the program is not for everyone. Given I can only accommodate 30 parents at a time, there would be an extensive screening process. The first thing you need to do is click on the button below and apply. You will then be redirected to an expression of interest form with approximately 10 questions. My team will then go through those minefield of applications and sort out only 100 such potential applicants. Upon shortlisting, you would be invited to book a meeting with me at a convenient time that works for both you and I. Now, based on that meeting, we will offer only 30 motivated parents to work directly with me and my team. When I look at a child on the spectrum, all I see is possibilities. Yes, with a bit of support, most of them can grow up to lead perfectly normal lives, land themselves with a job that provides them ongoing motivation and enrichment, have lasting and meaningful relationships, rear a family and become a role model for their kids, be able to enjoy those small moments in life that we live for. But the person they rely on most to make it happen is you. You are your child's biggest hero, his or her role model. Your kids know that you would protect them and nourish them. And no matter what, you can do nothing wrong. And my job is to help you become the best you.